Sure.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another fun-filled edition of the Real Estate Backstory. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker at Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
My name is Ming Richardson. I'm the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
Yes. And today we are going to be jumping into a whole lot of cool information, as well as, we're definitely going to be talking about sprinkles are for winners. And so we'll be going into that here in just a quick second. So, but first we kind of wanted to go through some of our normal kind of news every week. So first thing is our CE classes this week. We have CE classes on Tuesday and Wednesday this week, but it's the same class. It's just that on Tuesday at 9:30, you can have Dana Sparks teaching the 2021 GAR contract changes.
And she's fabulous.
And she is fabulous. Now, I'm a little biased, but I believe that on Wednesday, January 27th at 9:30, we're also teaching 2021 GAR contracts, and Ming Richardson is teaching that, and I think she's more fabulous. So
I don't even know that's a word.
It is now.
Okay,
Just
gotcha.
So and we also have Tech Thursday coming up. We have accountability on Tuesday as well. So we hope that you can join us for some of those. If you haven't got your GAR contract changes in, that is, those are really important. We're also got a couple of new classes that we're adding to the CE class, to the CE roster coming up. As far as
well, a lot of people are asking for a dissection of 2021 GAR contract, so we're going to do that, and as well as a couple of other stuff.
Yeah.
Just to y'all, please take the class, because honestly, there's a lot of information that has a little bit of twist on it. So if you're not familiar with the twist, you may or may not serve your client.
Yeah. All right, and we want to start off this week talking about sprinkles for winners. Right. And so right now we are in the middle of or not the middle, but we're in the midst, I guess would be the right word, of a bidding war, especially for value priced properties. For value properties, and anything under 250 is, for the most part, it is highly regarded as a seller's market. And last time we saw this, was well back before the 08 downturn, right. And that's when a lot of us lament back to those good times, and we're kind of there right now as well. But the same thing happened then is kind of going on now, and that is, are some of our bidding wars going too far, and at what point are we not protecting our clients? And so this worries me a little bit. Because the last time, not everybody's been in the business forever. And so we're kind of old and crusty, but we've been there, done that, got the t-shirts. And I want to tell you that there is we have some concerns about, we're seeing contracts come in with no due diligence. We're seeing contracts come in with no inspections. We're seeing contracts come in with like overpriced with, I don't mean overpriced, but over asking, and with willing to make up the difference regardless of appraisal. And so this happened last time. And when this happened afterwards last time, what we ended up with was a whole series of lawsuits and people charging their agents as not protecting them.
Absolutely.
Because of, in the heat in the market, right now we are instructing our clients about, and you need to, you need to, we need to be making valid offers for sure, and we have to let them know right up front, we're probably gonna have to make more than one offer. On a lot of these properties, it really isn't, you're in a bidding war and you have to put your best foot forward for sure. But we also have to make sure that we're protecting our clients. And so, no due diligence, we need to have.
That's a little scary, because just so you know, a lot of these homes that has been flipped, the older homes, they may have foundation issue. And so if you put a good chunk of money for earnest money, you can count on that money, it's gone. And I don't know, there's a whole lot of buyer out there right now can part away with 2,000 plus in earnest money. So just make sure that you're at least protecting your client versus trying to win the bidding war and not serving your client.
Well, the other thing that we recommend that you use is the services contract or addendum. I'm sorry.
Recommendation.
Yeah, the service recommendation. You want
to we do have a form in our back end of paperless pipeline where it's service recommendation. It covered the whole gimmick of the inspection, survey, home warranty, hazardous insurance, just multitude of different things, lead-based paint and stuff like that. So,
but it lets your client sign off on those issues. And so, if the other side of this is if we have a buyer who says, I really don't care, get it in writing. Yeah. Okay. Get it, protect yourselves. If they're not going to heed sound advice, get it in writing, because the last time what happened was we had the same issue go on. And then, 2 years later, after they had all these repairs on the house because they didn't do a home inspection, they end up suing not only the seller, but they end up suing their real estate agent. And so we don't want that to happen to you. So we got to make sure we're protecting our clients for sure, but we also got to make sure that we're really protecting ourselves on their kind of thing. Because, I know that buying, bidding wars are tough. They're a challenge, but, there are some things that we can do to try and help our buyers stand out. And so, we got to do, first of all, we got to make sure that everything, that we show that our client is a serious buyer. So how much earnest money are we putting down? That right there, we do the majority of listings. I can tell you, when the larger earnest money amounts, that's a more serious buyer, and if they're having to bring 5% anyway, it's not really going to cost them, as long as you are protecting your clients on their timelines and that kind of stuff.
And honestly, there's a difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval. So if your client's already, before you start looking in final location, go ahead and have them contact the lender, get their paperwork in and get them submitted. Honestly, all they need is an address for the lender to plug and play, and then you're qualified. So, and that will shorten, honestly, your time for financing, not necessarily appraisal, but financing, absolutely.
Well, but, shortening your timeline across the board is a really smart move. And if you are all the way through pre-approval and all the way through underwriting, you can shorten those financing contingencies. Can you shorten the inspection periods? I'm not saying not to do away with it, but the old days of asking for 2 weeks for due diligence period is really, really tough right now. And that will weaken your offer if you go with a long period. Now, in turn, you've got to have a good home inspector lined up, ready to move, that's not going to drag his feet. For sure, you need to be doing that. But, we're seeing 3 and 4 day inspection periods and due diligence periods kind of thing right now. And that shows that you're more serious and you understand what's going on with the market and that kind of stuff.
And then you have a good relationship with the inspector, so they can come out as soon as you're under contract.
Yeah. And then, last thing is try and make the contracts as clean as you can. Most of your true issues about the property are going to come up on the inspection report. And so being able to do that, but, limiting how dirty you make dirty is a bad word. I'm sorry.
How complicated.
Muddy. Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's a good
So
word.
You want to streamline your contract. Honestly, just because you're binding, you actually have what we call option period from the time of binding to the end of your due diligence period. Now, seller might be a little bit upset about, you coming back and for this and that. And I know sometimes listing agent will grill you about, hey, are you going to ask for this before we pick your contract? Be truthful. Say, listen, we got to have an inspection. If it's nothing that's foundation or of an issue where the appraisal would flag this, then we'll talk about it.
Yeah. And then you can use buyer letters, but I do caution you to be very careful. We don't want to violate any fair housing rules or regulations in there. We can't do anything that adheres to any of the protected classes and that kind of stuff. But still, we can write love letters to the sellers.
Absolutely.
We just have to be very conscious of not violating fair housing rules.
You have to be very objective when you write those letters. You can give the background of the client can give background of themselves if they want to, but I normally don't recommend it. No. Okay, but I would just express how
much you like the property.
You like the property and how your kids loved it.
Great. You can't do kids actually. Huh? That's a family class, so you can't say
no. But from the buyer said, this is great for my family.
Yeah, you can do that.
My girl has already picked out a room. Yeah. Stuff like that. That's okay, but as long as you don't violate the classification, as far as the 7 protective classification, then you're good.
One of the other issues that's coming up right now, along the same lines of having a seller's market, what this has turned is that for our sellers, they are having to be buyers as well as sellers, kind of at the same time. And so this has created kind of a new ripple, I'm not sure what the right word is, but we're having to navigate contingency offers, both on the seller side and on the buyer side right now. Because for a lot of our friends and clients, we don't want to make them homeless. And so, whereas maybe a year or two ago, a contingency offer may have even been a deal killer, contingency offers are pretty much, gosh, we're seeing on now about 30–40% of our homes, maybe half of our homes have contingency offers right now. Not on the first buyer section. So, segment, most of the time on anything in that 300 and up, we really are starting to see a lot more contingency offers. And it's mainly because the challenge for our sellers is if you sell your home, you're homeless if you haven't found another home to work in. So we're seeing where we are having to navigate contingency offers more and more right now. And you need to expect that both when you represent the sellers as well as when you're representing them as the buyers. So, understanding and how to navigate those contingency offers is really important. Like from a listing agent point of view, when you get a contingency offer in, talking to their lenders for sure is a big one, but also finding out how far back down the chain do the contingency offers go. So far, our record is 8, where we had 8 sales that had to happen before
back-to-back
one.
closing.
Yeah, everything,
So
like this house sells and then this sells, yeah. And so if anybody messes up in that link, it really is really challenging. But it's good if you understand how far back that
that contingency extends.
Yeah, or into how many different sales, because we all know something can always go wrong, and it always goes wrong in the first one. So that being said, you want to make sure that you're doing that you're putting that forward. The other side, as a buyer's agent, when you're representing them as a buyer, you want to make sure that property really is listed. And you want to be sharing as much information as your clients will allow you.
Well, actually, our contract states that if you have a pending contract going in purchasing another property as a contingency, if your current contract has fell through, you have to notify the listing agent of the property that your buyer wants to buy. So that's not an option anymore, y'all. Y'all have to notify.
Right, and you should. But even when you're placing that offer, it's strengthened. On some of our properties this past weekend, we got some contingency offers in. 2 were just listed, and 1 already had a contract on it. So you can understand why the one that already is under contract carries more weight. Yeah. Exactly, that kind of stuff. So, don't think that if you see a contingency offer, it's a deal killer anymore, because it really isn't. It's not the same place as it used to be. Kind of thing. All right, moving on. There was a new report that came out about minority households, and this is more of just kind of what to expect, because right now, the researchers are predicting that in the next 20 years, there's going to be about 16.1 million new households created. In that same time period, of that 16 million, 8.6 million are expected to be Hispanic.
That's half, y'all.
Yep, African Americans are going to be 3.3 million, and other races, mainly Asian, are going to increase by about 4.8 million. White households, on the other hand, are expected to decline by $600,000. 600,000 people. Sorry, I don't know where I got dollars from. Brain damage. So just understand that what we're going into, and the reason for the net household gain is that, our Hispanic households or African American households, they've been making more babies. The white folks, they're retiring and going to be, moving out, passing on, that kind of thing. And so we are going to start seeing a lot more diversity, and we need to be ready for that. So I do want to share some information that we have now on screen 2. Here we go. So let's talk about FICO scores, because I got some information for you that I found out to be kind of interesting. And so we kind of wanted to share with you that even during COVID, as a matter of fact, with COVID, the FICO scores in the US have increased more than any other year, just about. You can see that this is where the average FICO score has been since 2010. And we took an 8-point jump from 2019 to 2020. And that is a pretty significant jump. And it's really surprising when you think about all the challenges that have come to us through COVID with coronavirus. And yet still we saw some of the biggest gains in our FICO scores ever. Matter of fact, we hit new record in our FICO scores. And what we're seeing is that at the same time, Americans are saving more. People are being smart about what's going on. You'll hear some people talk about, well, back in 08 when the market was really on fire, those kind of things. Look, savings is triple where it was back then. We haven't done all these home equity refis that we did back in 08 as a nation, that kind of thing. So FICO score is another one where you can see that we're nearly 20, 30 points higher than we were back in 08 overall as a country. And so that's a really good thing for us. But what does that mean when we break it down into, say, I don't know, by generation? So first of all, let me back up a little bit. So what's the lowest FICO score you can get? 300. And I know that's pretty sad, but that's like our bottom line, like 300 to 579, that's poor. 580 to 669, that's fair. 670 to 739, good. 740 to 79, very good. And 8 to 850, that is top notch, exceptional. So who's got the highest generations? Well, as you would kind of expect, the older people are, the higher their credit scores are. So our silent generation, followed by boomers, then Gen Xers and millennials, and millennials and Gen Zs are pretty close, kind of thing. But you see that as people live longer, they save more and they're smarter about their money, kind of thing. And so that's kind of weird. But at the same token, how are we doing in Georgia? Well, in Georgia, we actually jumped about 7 points this past year, because our 2020 average FICO score, while the US is 711, Georgia's 689, but we have moved up proportionally just about the same as the rest of the nation. So we are improving, and that is really, really good for us to have, kind of thing. So I just thought it was very interesting. And while we don't necessarily work mortgages, that's not our job. We sell houses. We have to be knowledgeable about the mortgage industry, kind of thing. And so we're continuing to see right now that our stock market's doing great right this minute, which I know is crazy.
Well, the reason being that is part of it is counting on the vaccine and fiscal stimulus to drive economic recovery in 2021. So now this could also pressure rates higher throughout the year. So just be aware.
We are looking at modest increases. I still see us probably being under threes, but we're going to start seeing. And personally, we are telling clients, as soon as you get your mortgage, lock your rate. Lock your rate now. Don't try and think it's going to go down to 2.5, that kind of stuff. Honestly, when they can get it in, lock their rate.
Yeah, at today's rate is really incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Because right now, the average contract interest rate for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is a 2.88. And that went up from a 2.86 the week before. For a 36 fixed rate FHA is a 2.93. That went up from a 2.9 the week before. And for a 15-year, it's a 2.39, which is about the same as it was the week before. So, your 15-year mortgage is always going to be less. But, we're just starting to see small incremental inches up. Is going from a 2.9 to 2.93 huge? No, but if you go up 0.3 or 0.03 every week, well, then that adds up. And after 4 or 5, 6, 7 weeks, and we know how long the home search process is, I really do recommend that you lock in your rates right now, kind of thing. Also, Freddie Mac came out with their quarterly forecast right now, and they're expecting home price growth to jump up by about 5.4% in 2021. And then in 2022, they're looking at about a 3% increase. And I think those numbers are pretty moderate. And I'm very hopeful that we can actually see those. The double-digit growth is not sustainable for us. So
well, the inflation's not there to support it.
Yeah.
So you'll have higher cost home with less paying jobs. So.
Yep. So, but it's looking to be a really good year for real estate, for mortgages in general, kind of thing. This past week, the FHA extended the moratorium for evictions and foreclosure for the fifth time. And so now it doesn't expire until February 28th. My gut says this will not be the last extension. My feeling is it will continue, that they will continue to do it until we really see the vaccines are kind of, that's my own personal feeling. I can't say that, that's not gospel, but if you look at the fact that it's been extended 5 times already and the Rona ain't any better, I'm expecting that until the Rona is better, that we're going to keep seeing that kind of thing moving forward.
COVID.
Okay.
AKA
Corona's.
Alan.
Okay. I just called it Rona. Jobless claims last week came in at $900,000, which was a nice drop, but it's still crazy high. And so, it did come down from 926,000, but still we need to see jobless claims continuing to drop. And that's what we're really hopeful for, kind of thing.
And real quick, you guys should got an email late last night from me. Here at Maximum One, we do honor our agent as a true CEO of their own business. With that business model, you have the freedom to alter or rebate your portion of broker commission as you see fit, as long as the rebate is legal, ethical, professional, not misleading, and compliant with Greg and Maximum One policy. A commission rebate must be included in the closing statement, not after closing.
Nothing afterwards, folks.
No. That's a huge violation. You can lose your license for that. If you rebate your portion of commission, you will typically need a broker written permission. These are located in MX1 financial forms in the reference section of paperless pipeline. And the easy step is that complete the fill in the blank. It's in PDF. It's fillable. Upload the document to your transaction, and we will have that signed up for you and send it to you. Okay?
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
That's right. Just remember, y'all, a lot of information in the reference section of paperless pipeline is already there for you. So you don't have to wait on us for forms or permissions.
Yep. Very cool. All right. So for, all you real estate folks, you are independent contractors. You are small business people. And the IRS has pushed back the start of tax season by 2 weeks. It now begins February 12th. So the tax season typically begins at the end of January. They moved it back to mid-February now. However, the deadline to file your taxes, still April 15th. Kind of thing. So right now, the IRS is predicting all refunds will be 21 days, which is
electronically.
If
you're filing electronically.
Yep. So, all right. In 2020, we got some new numbers in. I know it's a little bit late, but we got some 2020 numbers in. And so according to NAR, 2020 had the highest existing home sales in 14 years. So we went way back. So we are rocking and rolling, my friends. We are doing similar volume back when us old dogs call, like back in the good old days, we do this kind of thing.
He's dating himself.
Yeah, that's probably true. So, and in the past week, I've had several agents that have come to me talking about how busy they are. And I've also had some agents coming to me and being like, man, I'm just not doing much this year.
Right.
And things sure are starting off slow. And I hate to be this way, but it's you. Okay. There's business to be had out there. There are some challenges. We have a whole set of new challenges, because if the only thing, the only constant in real estate is change. Okay. So you have to be very mobile. You got to be ready to move. You got to be ready to adjust how you do business, kind of thing.
Well, nothing beats, consistency and lead generation. And although, Alan, I do have to take you back a little bit. Well, some of us have experienced COVID and the effect of COVID, where it affected our family and immediate family. So I understand that. So you're not in your business. So
I'm not trying to be uncaring.
we understand. And when he made an announcement, it's not you. And sometimes we do have seasons in our lives. So just understand that. But if you want to do well in real estate, jump back on that horse and ride it. I mean,
well, but you can do a lot through mobile. I mean, we have agents that are holding Zoom classes, doing the whole 9 yards.
And our lender will be more than happy to do a virtual first-time home buyer. So reach out to them. Our in-house lender, they're happy to do it.
But I just want you to know that the business is there. Don't take that as a cop-out that man, things are not good. On the real estate, the rest of the world right now is kind of like on fire in a lot of things. But real estate, here in the Atlanta market, we're doing really, really well. And so, you can be very creative about how you're going through with your business. Just don't paint this picture. And I find that it's self-limiting ideas. You know, if you believe the market is crappy,
Right.
the market's crappy. And if you believe that the market's good, then the market's good. And if no matter what, you're going to be successful, you're going to be successful. So I'm not trying to be callous or not caring about people's
and sometimes, you know,
health.
I know fear holds us back. Okay. It's like this. I know I hate to make this analogy, but somebody said, how are you going to win the lotto if you didn't buy it? And I'm not encouraging you to go out there and buy lotto tickets. We don't buy it. But I just want you to know.
So we won't win it. Yeah.
Right? So if you don't ever do it, then you definitely won't get it.
All right. Kicking back over to our home builders. Builder confidence in the single family home market. The they have a builder's confidence index, comes out every single month. And so the National Association of Home Builders does this. And you may see on the news that it dropped 3 points to an 83. And that sounds, well, that's not great. Wrong. Anything over 50 is good. Correct. Okay. Yeah. So no, you know, like 52, 53, that would be positive. You know, but the fact that we're at 83, you know, it means that it really is rocking right now. And housing starts rose to their fastest pace since 2006 in December. So, you know, we are rocking it. Housing starts have risen for the 8th straight month. So that's a really strong place for us to be on there. Because our builders really are kind of rushing to make more homes. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Like they really are trying. Our builders have a lot of challenges right this minute. There is a lot of availability issues on not just like softwoods, but like windows. We're seeing windows taking 3 months to come in, that kind of stuff. So supplies for our builders is behind. Labor for our builders is down. And then dirt, you know, for the past 5 years, 6 years, our builders have just basically been building everything that was all the PVC farms that we had popped up everywhere. Well, those suckers are gone. Okay, they're having to develop land again now. So right now, that's really the big rush that's going on with the builders. We're seeing a lot more of that going on. But you know, we're also thankful for that because you know we need to catch up. When people say, "How are we going to crash? Are we heading into a crash?" That kind of stuff. You know, we've been making babies more than we've been building houses, or faster than we've been building houses, and so we really need that inventory. We have way more demand than we have supply to meet. So we need the builders to do that, and that's why our market really is kind of rocking and rolling right now. You know, our millennial generation is moving in. The average first-time buyer age is 33, and our average millennial is 28. And over the next 5 years, they're going to be reaching the peak. In their over the next 5 years, going to be reaching their peak in the number of millennials reaching first-time buyer age. So when you put all these kind of things together, supply versus demand, we're not heading into any sort of crash. So please share that with your clients. Let everyone know what's going to go on. I hope today was helpful for you. You know, anything?
Nope. And Maximum Asian, just so you know, this week we'll send out a report for you and of what your transaction is. Please review it and make sure if you have any questions or any correction need to be made, please respond back to me and I'll make sure that we audit correctly. As we have been trying this week, entire month really, to audit the file, ensure everything is moving forward correctly.
Call, text, or smoke signals. We answer it all. Bye, y'all. Love you.
All right. Take care. Have a good Monday.